Utility tokens and security tokens are multi-million-dollar concepts funding startups around the world. But it can be pretty difficult to understand what the difference between the two actually is. Let's put security tokens and utility tokens under the microscope and help you clearly understand what both of them are and what they're needed for. Let's start here. What are tokens? Generally speaking, a token is a representation of something in a particular ecosystem. For example, it could represent a value, like $20, or it could represent something more abstract, like a vote or an identity. A token is different from a cryptocurrency in that it is constrained to its environment. Ether can be used to interact with many different contracts and projects, but a token like Omisigo or Golem are specifically meant to be used within their project's ecosystem. So that's tokens. But what about utility and security tokens? A utility token is something that provides a user with a product or a service. Think of them like a gateway. They often allow users access to a network, or to have their voices heard on a network through voting. Now, this might sound like a broad definition, and you're right, it is. Most tokens will say that they're a utility token, but that is often not the case because of how they're being sold by the token's developers. So even though the definition of a utility token is so broad, a true utility token is actually quite rare. Being a utility token allows you to escape some government regulation and taxes, so it's understandable why many developers seek to use that name, even when it isn't true. Many tokens that say they're utility tokens are actually security tokens. Let's talk about why. The Howie Test is a test used by the Securities and Exchange Commission to decide if an investment is a security or not. This test has been applied in the crypto space several times to determine whether a token is a utility token or a security token. So if you're trying to figure out the answer for yourself, the questions it asks are good points to begin your investigation. Is there an investment of money? Is this investment into a common enterprise? Is there an expectation of profit for the investors? Is this expectation of profit based on the work of others? Again, this is very broad, so you can see how almost every token ever sold could fall into the category of security and why a utility token would be exceedingly rare. Almost every token sale or ICO ever fits the bill here. Are people investing money into the token? Absolutely. Is this money going towards one business or enterprise? Yes, the funds received are almost always held and controlled by the business behind the token. Is there an expectation of profit for the investors? Definitely. Is that profit based on the work of others? Again, yes, as the employees and developers behind the project are relied upon to provide a working ecosystem around the token that will increase its value. So then a security token is any token that answers yes, in full, or often even in part, to any of the questions posed in the Howie Test. Any tokens that could be called security tokens are subject to many regulations in the United States and could face very severe penalties for not abiding by them. So, a lot of tokens accidentally fell into this category and now face an uncertain future because of it. However, some tokens set out to meet these requirements and regulations intentionally, and thus are much more secure in their operations. Once a token is classified as a security token, it means that it's representative of legal ownership of an asset, either physical or digital. That ownership must be verifiable on a blockchain. But the true value of a security token lies in its ability to democratize the ownership of assets. For example, in the real estate world, you can't really buy 1/100th of a house, simply because a house can't reasonably be split up 100 ways. But with a security token, one could generate 100 tokens that represent stake in a home. This significantly lowers the bar of capital required to invest and see returns in expensive markets, as well as allowing for group ownership of things that were previously impossible to own in a group. If I can only afford 10% of a house, suddenly I can purchase 10% of a house as an investment and avoid taking on a large loan just to enter the real estate market. In conclusion, a utility token is a token that does not meet the requirements of the Howie Test and as such does not have any expectation of profit. Its value may rise and fall based on supply and demand, but its value cannot be tied in any way to the value of the company behind it. Because they are unregulated, they can be generated and sold freely, including by scammers, so be sure to exercise caution when buying. A security token is a token that meets any or all of the requirements of the Howie Test and has an expectation of profit. It is regulated by the SEC, and both investors and developers need to be conscious of that. If your token accidentally falls into the category of security, you could definitely be in trouble. Security tokens that are clear about being a security token often have big benefits, such as project stability and scam prevention. Thanks for watching. We hope this guide clears up any misconceptions you might have had. Don't hesitate to reach us in the comments, on our website, or on Twitter if you have any more questions.